One of the things that we're going to do, MMTs and everyone, is take a look around Wall Street. And what does that mean? Gold and silver is the one we're on now, and it was broad-based buying. We're going to go to the commodity-related indexes. This one had a lot of buying, and it did, and there's a lot of good names in here that we're going to be going through, but look at the broad-based buying with the gap up and the beaten down. Morgan Stanley natural gas, on the other hand, it had a lot of buying in here. There are some, we love this APA, we like Devon, there's lots of them. I don't need to go through them. All of you MMTs know them. But there it is. AMEX oil, on the other hand, look at the oil patch. It finally got a pump. But it's broad-based buying across all key sectors. Look at Deutsche Bank energy. That was one of the ones, again, you have some leaderships in here that we'll be taking a look at in 2012 and short-term trading, where the values are and the yields, dividend yields, fund managers were buying. Oil services. Once again, fund managers were buying in the names. There's some very good names in here that we cover and make markets with. Oil services, on the other hand, look at these names in here. Okay, and these are all beaten down, good quality companies that have been sold down with the financial worldwide crisis. And we always look for deals. One of the things that we would like to take a look at is what the Morgan Stanley biotech did in the biotech sector. There was peer gains across there as well. When we look at the drug index, there was buying in the drug index. Pharmaceuticals, once again, we have a lot of buying. Again, we've gone through these things throughout the calendar year of 2011. We have many of these Wall Street, broad-based buying within the overall turmoil that the markets are in, but they always seem to fail, but it doesn't matter. Broad-based buying. The S&P banking index, they went into the banking index and bought. Let's take a look at the KBW banking across the board, buying. Once again, net change all across the board. Securities broker dealers, all buying net changes across the board. The fertilizers, which we love, are on sale, buying across the board. Restaurants, buying across the board. You all know that we like Buffalo Wild Wings. We like CMG in here. There's a few really good names in here that had broad-based buying. Once again, in the healthcare arena, Morgan Stanley Healthcare Index. We always were featuring this because people, hey, it's broad-based buying. Let's take a look at forest paper and products, all buying. More importantly, though, is the Morgan Stanley Cyclical Index, broad-based buying. Morgan Stanley Consumer, the CMRX, look at it, broad-based buying. Let's take a look. Oh boy, the pullback in retail, they had all the reason to be here. Thanksgiving weekend sales and Cyber Monday right now on 11/28. We had the best numbers that were reported, but once again, we're still going to be selling short in these names moving forward. Profit margins are going to shrink. Semiconductor buying, you want to see that. So the bull, XOXL, was good to be in. The Philly Semiconductor Index, all buying in there. Once again, capital equipment, semi, all buying, broad-based. Semiconductor devices. These are the devices in here. Got Intel, how about that? Got our star Qualcomm. What a nice move on that Qualcomm. That's a good technology play for 2012. The technology, broad-based buying, computer technology, XCIX, broad-based buying, Dow Jones Internet Conference, bought really lots of buying. But guess what? We always talk about the Dow transports. Look at that. Heavy buying across the board. Heavy buying. NASDAQ transportations. We have all of this analysis on what they mean. Look at that broad-based buying. That broad-based buying. Hardware. Apple's in here. EMC. It all had broad-based buying. That's the Goldman Sachs. The disk drive. Let us not forget the ones that are in here. EMC is a good name. SanDisk is a good name. And they're all up in that area. So we can see that a lot of things have hit. When we take a look at the services side, all buying here. These are the Goldman Sachs service side type stocks. Paychex is in there. So there's some good names. Digital River's even in there. How about that one? How about the software? Wow. Lots of buying across the board. So we've had a lot of buying across the board in all the sectors, and we've gone down these road many times before. Small cap 600. We're going to see just how much buying was there. Huge buying. Huge buying. Look at that buy in there. They had been sold. That meant that the bull would have been working. The bull ETFs that we cover here worked, and the bears are pulling back. So the bull ETFs are, look at that, broad-based buying. S&P 400 mid-cap, S&P 500. Look at what we have. Whoa, look at that buying in the S&P 500. Look at that buying. End of the month portfolio dressing. This is the times that stocks are supposed to rally outside of the Europe contagion. S&P 100, look at that buying. Look at it. All nice movement because we were oversold and we were due for the same kind of bounces that every bull and bear markets get. When I take a look at some of the NASDAQ components in the NASDAQ banking, the BANK.X, the financials, look at the buying in the financials. There was some broad-based buying there, more than selling. All right. And the NASDAQ financials, top 100 financials, IXF.X, all buying. Look at that. All that buying. What is it? It's short covering. It's all short covering. So if you understand what short cover rallies are, they're always broad-based. Dow Industrials, look at them. They're all being bought. Look at the Dow Jones Internet Conference. The big boys, Amazon's in here, Google, Expedia, eBay, Priceline, broad-based buying, short cover rally, Dow Transports. Let's take a look at the utilities, Dow Jones Utilities, even they were buying. And let's go with the other one that we would want to take a look at is your NDX.X, your NASDAQ 100. Look at the broad-based short cover rally. Short cover rally buying, and it's broad base.